All right, commingling. What does that mean? And why is it on the list? It's number 7. It's bolded. Tell us about that.
Well, it kind of also probably, I guess everything's tying back to entity selection a lot too. A lot, but commingling, really what I'm referring to is keeping your business accounts and your personal accounts separate. It's really important, because if you don't, well, one is, how are you going to know, when you're doing your taxes, first of all, how are you going to know what was spent, how much profit there was? It's just inadequate bookkeeping, I guess you could say, is maybe another one. Incorrect bookkeeping. There could be tax exposure. There could be, the business could run out of funds quickly if you're using it for personal expenses. Especially if you have a spouse who likes to spend a lot of money, and if the funds are commingled, maybe they're going to be bleeding the business dry and you don't even know it. I'm sure you can elaborate on a lot of legal reasons why, but it just complicates the overall planning picture in terms of projections. We talked about valuations earlier. I don't know how in the world you'd be able to do a valuation if your business and personal accounts were commingled. I think that's another issue in itself.
I think that's a great point, and I have other points to add on the legal side, but business valuation side, I mean, yeah, you're crushing yourself for getting the benefits of a favorable valuation. You're handcuffing yourself with respect, and you can confirm this when you're talking about getting a loan and they're doing the evaluation of how much money you make. Are you W-2ing yourself? Are you just, where are you in your salary? Like, it's very hard.
There could be, whole sorts of stuff, or income tax issues, or is it distributions? Is it salary? What is it? And I guess we can't understate the importance of keeping good records. It kind of ties into this too.
So I would add, so all those reasons are really, really good reasons. But they supplement the main reason, in my opinion. They supplement the main reason of why you don't want to commingle. And that is, just to kind of back up a little bit, we're talking about having a business. Doesn't matter what it is. Partnership, limited partnership, LLC, C Corp, S Corp. Doesn't matter. If you start commingling and you start, going out for dinner with your friends and going to the bar and running it through the business and doing inappropriate business deductions, paying your electric bill, paying things that are clearly not business, then if you are ever sued personally, or even through the business, you're substantially increasing the likelihood that business will be disregarded as a legal entity.
Brought me back to law school here, just the piercing of the corporate veil.
Piercing of the corporate veil. They have a good name for it. Piercing of the corporate veil. It means in plain English that they can get through the business to the shareholder and go after the shareholder's assets, because there's really no separation of business and shareholders' interests. And that's kind of defeats one of the very purposes for why people actually form them in the first place. One was limited liability, and two is tax and shareholders and structure. The flagship case that this kind of developed on was relating to Dana Highlight. Remember Dana Highlight?
Yeah, I actually do remember this case.
Do you? It's Dana Highlight, and there was a valet parking, company that was doing the valet for Dana Highlight, and they just had an accident, and they kind of crushed somebody between two cars, and they sued, and there was all sorts of problems with the structure, and they ended up piercing it and getting at Dana Highlight as a result, and that was kind of like the flagship case.
Ironically enough, I back in high school, I used to go to Dana Highlight on I think it was Tuesday nights for dollar popcorn, dollar hot dogs, and sit there and watch some Highlight.
You're bringing. I've been, and every time I go there, of course, I think of that issue, and I want to tell somebody about it there, but they don't want to hear me. They don't want to talk about that while we're playing Highlight. So I would say this ties into
Like every time I'm at, obviously it's been a while, but either the Fountain Blue or the hotel next to it, the Eden Rock, when they had it, this one of the first cases in law school too, was the property rights of the building going, they blocked the pool because I think either
air
that,
rights.
yeah,
Air rights. That's an interesting one. Air rights. I would say that commingling ties into observing the corporate formalities. It's you want to make sure your company stays separate and distinct and protected, and that's just one of many.
Haimo, Haimo.